Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm excited to take you on a journey through time to learn about one of the most famous and fascinating people in history, Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci was born in 1452 in a small town in Italy called Vinci. From a young age, Leonardo showed an incredible talent for art and a deep curiosity about the world. He didn't just want to be an artist. He wanted to understand everything around him, from how the human body worked to how the stars moved in the sky. He is best known for his paintings, like the Mona Lisa and The Last Supper. But what makes Leonardo so special is that he wasn't just a painter. He was also an inventor, scientist, and engineer. He made incredible designs for flying machines, robots, and even studied the human body by doing dissections. His notebooks are full of amazing ideas that were way ahead of his time. Leonardo's curiosity didn't stop with art. He wanted to learn how everything worked, and he always asked why and how. This desire to understand the world made him one of the most important figures in history. His work has inspired generations of artists, scientists, and inventors. Even today, we continue to study his work and learn from his ideas. In this video, we'll dive into the fascinating life of Leonardo da Vinci, explore his most famous works, and discover how his curiosity helped shape the world we live in today. Are you ready to learn more about the genius who combined art and science in such an incredible way? Let's get started. Early life of Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci was born on April 15, 1452, in a small town in Italy called Vinci. Vinci was a quiet, peaceful place with green hills and a beautiful countryside. It was here that Leonardo spent the first few years of his life. His father, Piero da Vinci, was a rich lawyer, and his mother, Caterina, was a farmer. Even though his parents were not married, Leonardo was still raised in a family that cared for him. As a child, Leonardo was very curious. He loved to draw and ask questions about everything around him. He would often look at the animals, plants, and landscapes near his home and draw what he saw. Leonardo's family realized that he had a special gift for art, so they decided to send him to study with a famous artist in Florence. In Florence, Leonardo became an apprentice to a well-known artist named Andrea del Verrocchio. An apprentice is someone who learns a skill by working with someone who is already very good at it. In Verrocchio's workshop, Leonardo learned how to paint, sculpt, and design. Verrocchio was a famous artist, and many important people in Italy came to his studio to get paintings made. Leonardo was able to learn many new skills and also watch how Verrocchio worked with other talented artists. During this time, Leonardo worked on many different projects. He didn't just paint, but also worked on sculptures and designed machines. His curiosity grew even more, and he started asking more questions about how things worked. He wanted to understand not just how to make art, but how to make things that could fly, swim, or even help people in new ways. Leonardo spent many years in Verrocchio's workshop, and as he learned more, his talent grew stronger. When he was around 20 years old, Leonardo became an independent artist. He started taking on his own projects, and quickly became well known for his skills. His early works were so impressive that people started to ask him to paint for important families and leaders. By the time he was 30, Leonardo was not only a famous artist, but also an inventor and engineer. He had big ideas that went beyond what was happening in art at the time. Many of these ideas, such as designs for flying machines and tanks, were very advanced for his time. He would sketch his ideas in notebooks, filling them with amazing drawings of his inventions. Leonardo's early life was full of learning and growth. Even though he was born in a small town, his curiosity and passion for art and science helped him become one of the most famous people in history. His early years shaped who he would become, and laid the foundation for all of the incredible things he would do in his life. Vocabulary. Apprentice, a person who learns a skill by working with an expert. Curiosity, a strong desire to learn or know something. Engineer, someone who designs and builds things like machines or structures. Notebooks, books used for writing or drawing ideas. Families, groups of people living together, often related by blood. Designs, plans or drawings of how something will look or work. His famous paintings. Leonardo da Vinci is most famous for his paintings. He is known as one of the greatest artists in history, and his work has inspired millions of people. Two of his most famous paintings are the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, which are still admired around the world today. Let's talk about these two paintings and how Leonardo's skills made them special. The Mona Lisa. One of Leonardo's most famous paintings is called the Mona Lisa. This painting is so famous that people travel from all over the world to see it. The Mona Lisa shows a woman with a calm smile and mysterious eyes. The woman's name is not known for sure, but many people believe she was a woman named Lisa Gherardini, the wife of a rich merchant. What makes the Mona Lisa so special is her smile. When you look at her, it seems like she is smiling, but her smile is also a little bit mysterious. Some people say she looks happy, while others think she looks sad. This is one of the reasons why so many people love the painting. It makes you wonder what she is thinking. Leonardo used a special technique called sfumato to paint the Mona Lisa. This technique means blending colors softly so that there are no hard lines. This made her face look very natural. The painting is also famous because it was made with so much attention to detail. The light on her face, the folds in her clothes, and the soft background are all painted perfectly. The Last Supper. Another famous painting by Leonardo is The Last Supper. This painting shows the scene where Jesus Christ has his final meal with his disciples before he is arrested. The painting is very important because it shows a moment of deep emotion. In the painting, you can see the disciples reacting to the news that one of them will betray Jesus. You can almost feel the tension in the room just by looking at their faces. One of the things that make The Last Supper so special is the way Leonardo uses light and space. He painted the scene on a large wall in a monastery in Milan, Italy. The painting is huge and shows each disciple in a different way. Some are calm, some look worried, and others are surprised. Leonardo's ability to show different emotions in the faces of his characters is one of the things that makes this painting so powerful. Leonardo's techniques and innovations, both the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, show Leonardo's genius when it comes to using light and shadow. He was one of the first artists to understand how light affects the way we see things. Leonardo painted shadows and light in such a way that his paintings looked three-dimensional. This technique made his figures seem alive and real, something that no one had seen before. Another important thing about Leonardo's art is that he studied human anatomy. He looked at the muscles and bones in the body to understand how people moved. This helped him paint people in a natural, realistic way. For example, in The Last Supper, you can see how each disciple's body is moving and how their clothes fall over their bodies in a way that looks very realistic. Other famous paintings. While the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper are Leonardo's most famous works, he also painted many other amazing pieces. Some of these paintings are not as well known, but they are still important. For example, the Baptism of Christ is one of Leonardo's early works. It shows the moment when John the Baptist baptizes Jesus in the River Jordan. The painting shows Leonardo's early skills at using light and shadow. and his ability to show people's emotions. Another painting called The Annunciation shows the angel Gabriel telling the Virgin Mary that she will have a child. This is a beautiful painting where you can see Leonardo's amazing ability to paint natural landscapes and his attention to detail in the flowers and trees in the background. Vocabulary. Sfumato, a painting technique that blends colors together softly to avoid sharp lines. Disciples, followers, or students, in this case, the followers of Jesus. Betray, to secretly do something wrong, like telling a secret or causing harm. Anatomy, the study of the structure of the human body. Landscapes, pictures, or views of nature, like mountains, rivers, and forests. Attention to detail, paying careful attention to every small part of something. Inventions in engineering. Leonardo da Vinci wasn't just a painter, he was also a great inventor and an engineer. While we remember him for his famous paintings, Leonardo's notebooks are filled with amazing ideas for machines, tools, and inventions. Some of these inventions were too advanced for his time, but they showed how curious and imaginative he was. Leonardo's notebooks. Leonardo kept many notebooks throughout his life. These notebooks were full of sketches, ideas, and notes. He wrote down everything he saw and learned, often in detail. He would draw his inventions and explain how they might work, sometimes in a way that was hard for people to understand back then. Many of his inventions were mechanical. They used gears, levers, and other tools to work. Leonardo's notebooks show that he had an incredible imagination. He didn't just focus on art, he thought about everything from flying to war machines. Some of his ideas were very creative, but they were also based on his observations of the world around him. Flying machines. One of Leonardo's most famous ideas was his flying machine. Inspired by birds and his study of how they flew, Leonardo wanted to create something that could carry people into the air. He designed several machines that he thought would allow humans to fly, including a helicopter-like machine and a glider. The helicopter that Leonardo designed had blades that were shaped like a corkscrew. It was supposed to spin and lift into the air, but unfortunately, it was too heavy to actually work. However, Leonardo's idea of using spinning blades for flight was a precursor to modern helicopters. Leonardo also sketched a glider, which was similar to the planes we use today. His glider had wings made of fabric and wood, and it would have been able to glide through the air. Although the technology of Leonardo's time wasn't advanced enough to make this glider fly, his idea was brilliant and inspired later inventors. Machines for war. Leonardo was also interested in military inventions. One of his most famous war machines was a tank. He designed a circular vehicle that would be able to roll across the battlefield, carrying soldiers and cannons. The design had spiked wheels to break through enemy lines, and the tank was covered with armor to protect the soldiers inside. While the tank was never built, the design showed how Leonardo was thinking about defense and warfare in new ways. He also designed machines to help in battle, like crossbows that could shoot many arrows at once, and a machine for digging trenches. Many of these designs were ahead of their time. Engineering and bridges. Leonardo didn't just think about war, he also designed machines to help people in everyday life. He was interested in engineering and creating things that could make people's lives easier. One of his ideas was for a bridge that could be built quickly in a war. The bridge was meant to be light and easy to move. It was made of wood and could be set up in just a few hours. Another amazing engineering idea was his design for a self-propelled cart, which is considered to be the first automobile. This cart was powered by springs and could move without any horses or people pushing it. While Leonardo's cart never ran, it showed that he had an understanding of mechanical movement that was ahead of his time. Other inventions. Leonardo also designed many other inventions that helped improve life. For example, he invented a machine for grinding lenses. Lenses are important for making glasses, telescopes, and microscopes. His machine could grind glass into the right shape, something that was important for science. He also made designs for scuba diving equipment. He created a suit made of leather that could allow people to breathe underwater. The suit had a mouthpiece and was connected to an air supply above the water. While this invention was never used in his time, it is similar to modern diving equipment. Legacy of Leonardo's inventions. While Leonardo's inventions were not built in his lifetime, they were incredibly important for the future. Many of his ideas were too advanced for the technology of his time, but they inspired later scientists and engineers. Some of his designs, like the flying machine, tank, and glider, were the beginnings of inventions that we use today. Leonardo da Vinci's inventions show that he was not just a painter, he was a visionary who thought about the world in a new way. His curiosity and desire to understand how things worked made him one of the most important figures in history. Even though his inventions weren't built in his time, they are still studied by engineers and inventors today. Vocabulary, afraid of having many new and original ideas. Precursor, something that comes before something else and leads to it. Automobile, a vehicle that moves on its own, like a car. Defensive, relating to protecting or defending something. Visionary, someone who has new and original ideas, especially about the future. His work as a scientist and anatomist. Leonardo da Vinci was not only an artist and inventor, but also a scientist and anatomist. His curiosity about the world led him to study many things, and he spent a lot of time exploring how the human body worked. Leonardo was one of the first people to look at the body in a detailed and scientific way, using his artistic skills to understand anatomy better than most of his time. Studying human anatomy. One of Leonardo's biggest scientific interests was human anatomy. He wanted to understand how the body moved and worked, so he started studying dead bodies. Leonardo would dissect bodies to see the muscles, bones, and organs. This was unusual at the time because many people didn't understand the importance of studying the body in such detail. Through his dissections, Leonardo made many discoveries that changed how people saw the human body. He understood the muscles and bones better than anyone before him. For example, he was one of the first to show how the heart works and how blood moves through the body. Detailed drawings. Leonardo made incredibly detailed drawings of the human body. He drew everything from the muscles and bones to the organs and the nervous system. One of his most famous drawings is the Vitruvian Man. This drawing shows a man in a perfect pose with his arms and legs outstretched. The drawing is meant to show how the human body is proportioned and how the parts of the body fit together. These drawings were not just beautiful, they were also full of information. Leonardo's studies of anatomy helped future scientists and doctors understand the human body better. His detailed sketches allowed people to learn more about muscles, joints, and how we move. The connection between art and science. What made Leonardo special was how he combined art and science. He didn't just study the human body for science, he also used what he learned to improve his art. For example, when he painted the Mona Lisa, he used his knowledge of muscles and bones to make her face look more realistic. He understood how muscles in the face move when we smile or speak, and he used that knowledge to make his paintings come to life. Leonardo believed that to be a great artist, you had to understand science and nature. By studying anatomy, he could draw the human body more realistically. This made his art more detailed and lifelike, something that people had never seen before. His work on the brain and vision. In addition to studying muscles and bones, Leonardo was also interested in how the brain and the eyes work. He believed that the brain controlled how we think and feel, and he made many drawings of the brain to study it. He also looked at the nervous system, which connects the brain to the rest of the body. Leonardo was also one of the first to study how vision works. He tried to understand how the eyes see things and how our brain processes what we see. He made some important observations about how the retina works and how light enters the eyes. Many of these ideas were ahead of his time and would be studied in more detail by scientists hundreds of years later. Impact on modern science. While Leonardo didn't live to see his work used in modern science, his studies laid the foundation for many discoveries that came later. His anatomical drawings were used by doctors and scientists for hundreds of years after his death. Even though his sketches were not fully understood in his time, they helped build the knowledge we have today about the human body. Leonardo's curiosity and attention to detail changed how people looked at science and art. He didn't just accept what others told him. He wanted to see for himself. And that's why his studies in anatomy and science were so important. He showed people that art and science are connected, and that learning about one can help you understand the other better. Vocabulary. Dissect, to cut apart something to study it. Proportion, the correct relationship between the parts of something. Nervous system, the system of nerves that control how we move and feel. Observation, the act of looking at something carefully to learn more about it. Foundation, the base or starting point for something. Later life and travels. As Leonardo da Vinci grew older, he continued to work as an artist, scientist, and inventor. He traveled to different places in Italy and even to France. In this part of his life, he worked for important kings and rulers, and his ideas were in demand. Let's look at where he went and what he did during these years. Living in Milan. For many years, Leonardo lived in Milan, a city in northern Italy. Milan was one of the most important cities in Italy at that time. Leonardo worked for Ludovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan. The Duke was a powerful ruler who needed Leonardo's skills for many different projects. Leonardo painted, designed weapons, and even worked on architecture. One of the most famous works Leonardo created during his time in Milan is The Last Supper. He painted this masterpiece in a monastery in Milan, where it became one of the most famous religious paintings in the world. Leonardo also worked on engineering projects in Milan, designing machines that could be used in war, as well as designing fortresses and canals to improve the city. Travels to Rome. In the 16th century, Leonardo moved to Rome for a while. Rome was the center of the Catholic Church, and many important artists and thinkers came to the city. Leonardo spent some time working in Rome, but he also faced some problems there. The city was full of competition between artists, and some of Leonardo's ideas were not fully appreciated. While in Rome, Leonardo worked on smaller projects and studied anatomy further. He also met many important people, like Pope Leo X, and continued to study engineering and science. However, he didn't paint many famous works while in Rome. Most of his time was spent studying and making sketches in his notebooks. His time in France. In the final years of his life, Leonardo moved to France. In 1516, he was invited to France by the French king Francis I, who admired Leonardo's work. The king gave him a house in a beautiful place called Clos-Luz near the royal palace of Amboise. Here, Leonardo continued his work in painting and science. In France, Leonardo spent most of his time writing and drawing in his notebooks. He also helped the king with various projects, including designing machines and even making plans for a new bridge over the River Loire. King Francis I was very respectful of Leonardo and considered him a great artist and scientist. Leonardo also took his famous painting, the Mona Lisa, with him to France. It was in the French king's collection for many years. Today, the Mona Lisa is one of the most famous paintings in the world, and it is kept in the Louvre Museum in Paris. Leonardo's last years. During his last years in France, Leonardo's health began to decline. He was about 67 years old when he moved to France, and his body was not as strong as before. He continued to work on his ideas, but did not have the strength to do as much as he did in his younger years. Leonardo da Vinci died on May 2, 1519, in Amboise, France. He was buried in a chapel at the Château d'Amboise. At the time of his death, he was not widely recognized as the great genius he is today, but his ideas, inventions, and artwork have had a huge impact on the world ever since. Vocabulary, architecture, and the art and science of designing buildings and structures. Fortress, a strong, secure building often used in war. Invention, the creation of something new that has not been made before. Legacy, the impact or influence that a person leaves behind after they are gone. Legacy of Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci's legacy is truly remarkable. He is remembered not only as a brilliant artist, but also as a visionary who changed the way we think about art, science, and engineering. Even though Leonardo lived more than 500 years ago, his work continues to inspire people today. Let's take a look at how Leonardo's legacy has affected different parts of the world. Influence on art. Leonardo's influence on art is huge. His paintings, especially the Mona Lisa and The Last Supper, are considered masterpieces. These works changed the way artists viewed human expression and emotion. Leonardo's technique, especially his use of sfumato, the soft blending of colors, allowed him to make his paintings look realistic and alive. Leonardo also showed that art could be more than just a picture. His paintings told stories, expressed feelings, and captured the complexity of human nature. His work influenced many famous artists who came after him, including Michelangelo, Raphael, and Rembrandt. These artists used Leonardo's techniques and ideas to create their own incredible works of art. Impact on science and engineering. Leonardo's legacy goes far beyond art. His studies of anatomy, engineering, and science were ahead of his time. He combined art with science, and this helped him make detailed drawings of the human body and inventions that were far too advanced for his era. Many of his ideas, like his designs for flying machines and submarines, were not possible to build at the time, but they inspired later inventors and engineers. So that was the amazing life of Leonardo da Vinci. He wasn't just an artist, he was a true genius who made lasting contributions to art, science, and engineering. From his famous paintings like the Mona Lisa and The Last Supper to his incredible ideas for flying machines and his detailed studies of the human body, Leonardo showed the world that creativity has no limits. His work has inspired generations of artists, scientists, and engineers, and today we still learn from his ideas. By exploring the life of Leonardo da Vinci, we not only got to learn about one of the greatest minds in history, but also practiced English in a fun and engaging way. Learning about historical figures like Leonardo allows us to grow our vocabulary, understand how language connects to history, and see how the words we learn today have roots in the past. The story of Leonardo's life also showed us how English can be used to describe art, science, and even inventions, helping us become better at expressing ideas in English. If you want to continue learning English through fascinating stories, Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. This way, you'll be able to explore more interesting topics that will help you improve your English and learn about history at the same time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed discovering Leonardo's incredible legacy with me today. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video.